910, Big 550, KTRS, and we know we've got some peaceful protesters, some violent protesters, and everyone up in arms over the NFL. But with all this problems going on, you still have time for good style. And that's why our next guest is with us, Marshall Watson. Marshall, you have a brand new book out called The Art of Elegance. You're a New York interior designer. Is that safe to say?
Yes, I'm from New York City.
You're from originally Kansas City, though, aren't you?
Yeah, originally from Kansas City.
You live in
Born
New York.
and bred.
You live in New York now, and you're in town for a book signing and a book reading. And the book, The Art of Elegance, it's a coffee table book, but it is. What, your best
but
work?
It's also the compendium of about 20 years of my career.
So this is your book.
This is my book.
This is your book, and we had you on because we love to talk art and design, and you walk into a room, and some rooms you're like, oh, other rooms you're like, wow, this is a room, right? I mean, and that's the idea of the book.
Yeah, that's our job. Our job is to, as designers, is to take in the whole. Take in the client, take in the location, and then come up with a beautiful solution, and in our case, in many beautiful solutions.
Right. How do you go about designing a room?
I always, it's very important to me what the location is, where it is, and the first things that I always do is ask the client every question that I can possibly imagine.
Right.
What
do you like? What do you don't like? Favorite colors? Favorite TV shows?
Exactly, and how
like
you would and how you would use the room. Right. I mean, are you going to use the room as? And actually, coming from New York, where our spaces are so compromised, you always have one room. You can't ever have a museum room.
Right.
You know, every room's going to be.
It has to be form and function.
But it has to have so many different uses. You have to have, where do I put the TV, and actually, how do I hide it is one of the big things about what I do.
Right.
And then at the same time, you want to make sure, like, where's the desk going to go in the room? How are you going to study? How are you going to where the kids going to play in the room?
This book is beautiful. I mean, it's magnificent. The pictures, the work is fantastic. But I look at this, and anyway, you're going to be 5 to 7 tonight. The KDR showroom. Is there a website to find out more? Is there a website? KDRshowroom.com. KDRshowroom.com. The book is magnificent. It's fantastic. You can spend hours looking at this.
Well, thanks, because what I've done in the book is my work is not only 15 to 20 years of my work, but it's also work from all over the world, because I've been fortunate that I've worked everywhere from Sweden to Mexico, right, to California, obviously New York, but a lot in St. Louis. And this book has quite a few homes from St. Louis.
Well, we're going to get to that in a second, because St. Louis, you say, has some unique architecture.
I'm totally smitten by St. Louis.
Before we get there, though, I can't afford some of these homes. I can't afford the doorknob in some of these rooms. So you
may not be able to afford it, but what this gives you is a lot of guidelines and ways to approach your own home, ways to approach a room when you come into a room. Simple things like floor plans, proportion, how to achieve your own personal elegance.
Right. Which was my question, because somebody lives in a new construction home. They don't have some of the details of some of these older villas and things like that. How do you turn a new house or a new room or a rehabbed home into something as beautiful as this?
Well, a lot of these in this book, many of these places actually had no details.
Really?
So they were things that we added. I always feel that if you can get the architectural shell of a room correct, and kind of adjust the room, you're almost to home base. And if you can't do it, you decorate around it, and I show you how to decorate around it.
Wallpaper or paint?
The choice is up to the client and the client's budget. But one of the least expensive things to do and to alter a room is actually with paint.
Paint.
Yeah.
So paint is acceptable.
Paint is always acceptable.
Okay. What about gray? I heard gray is the new in color. True or false?
Gray is the new navy blue. It's interesting because it has been saturating the market now for about 6 years. And I'm actually pretty impressed that you know about it. But not that I think you're an adult or
nothing
anything.
like
you know?
insulting the host
Yeah, I
who's
know,
plugging your
please.
book for you.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, you guys. But Gray has been really stylish. I mean, I have been in the business for 30 years, so I actually remember when Gray was combined with mauve.
Right.
But now Gray it still saturates the market, but there are new colors that are coming in right now. Things that you start to see because they're just missing, like green.
Yes,
Actually,
we need more green in the world.
Yeah, more green in the world.
Yeah. What color green?
Actually, like a Kelly green and a dark blue.
Like a khaki green even?
No, khaki is kind of like the mossies and the khaki.
That's me. I'm a khaki green.
Those are you're
Sorry.
khaki green. I'm sorry.
Sorry, we can't be friends.
We'll have to get you out of the army fatigues, you know?
Furniture. Can we talk about furniture for a second? The book is called The Art of Elegance. Marshall Watson is our guest. He's a New York interior designer. His new book is absolutely fantastic. It's a great book just to stare at, to look at, get some great ideas with. He's having a book signing and a conversation at the KDR showroom on Page Avenue, or Page, right before Westport, 5 to 7 tonight. To find out more, KDRshowroom.com, KDRshowrooms.com for more information. Let's talk about furniture, because people have said today that furniture is disposable. And have we lost all sense of what great furniture is now?
I hate to tell you that I think that people have really gone away from things that they've inherited, and
Right.
a lot of the older furniture that actually was handmade. You know, style comes and goes. You
Right.
know, there will be a time when some of the older furniture is going to become so inexpensive that people are going to start saying, you know, I really love the 50s, 60s, and 70s. I really love all that retro furniture.
Right.
That was, made by manufacturers. But this handmade stuff is looking pretty good to me again.
Good.
And I think it's part of our job as designers to re-envision all of this too. And in my book, I try to re-envision how to use older pieces that people inherit. Many of the pieces that are in the book actually are things that my clients already had.
Yeah.
That they said, you know, might not be that much in style now, but you have to re-envision it.
So people come to you and say, here is a hope chest that my grandmother handed down to me. I don't care what you do. This has got to be somewhere in the house, and you have to design around it.
And I have to design it. And
Yeah.
I will use it. I'll design around it. But I also have to re-envision in a modern way what it's going to look like.
Right. It pains me to see, a 5-piece dining room set for $499. Right, I mean, it's just that's not going to last, and it's not quality.
I know. Well, and also that may be brand new, but you can also on the internet now. The internet has really opened up the world for design.
That's true,
because you can find things on eBay that will surprise you, the quality and how inexpensive they are. So with a little bit of research, you don't have to buy that $400
and it
five-piece set.
has also opened up a lot of furniture makers, one-off guys who work here in St. Louis can sell their pieces in New York, Chicago, L.A.
Actually, one of the best places for retro furniture is here in St. Louis, and we, from the East Coast, we get it all the time. And you have an incredible amount of great craftsmen here.
Where's that place that you go and get? Let's give them a plug.
It's called 20th Century.
Okay. Now let's talk about St. Louis architecture. What do you love about St. Louis architecture?
I was so stunned when I came here 20 years ago to find not only the quality of the architecture, for instance, the Central West End. You know, very few cities, and I've worked in almost every suburb in the United States.
Right.
And very few cities and suburbs have the quantity that, say, your Central West End does. Soulard is Soulard. I mean, if Soulard were sitting in the middle of New York City,
right.
every place would be restored, and it would be
millions of dollars.
Yeah, millions of dollars. But
Yeah.
it's an incredible compendium of wonderful buildings.
Yeah.
Lafayette Square. It's beautiful. It's restored. It's a great lifestyle to live in. And then you have these wonderful suburbs like Webster and Kirkwood and of course Clayton and Ledoux. I mean, just a massive amount of great residential architecture and variety.
The book is called The Art of Elegance, Classic Interiors. Marshall Watson is the author and the man who has created all the rooms in it. He's an interior designer. He's having a book signing and a book reading today. KDR Showrooms on page right before you get to Westport. Marshall Watson, KDRshowrooms.com. Give us a couple of, before we let you go here, I got two more things. Give us a couple of helpful hints for all of us, a couple of rules, a couple of helpful hints when you're designing a room.
First of all, I always think you should do a floor plan before you start moving around your furniture and breaking your back. Great thing is if you can get a piece of graph paper, or you can the internet has many different programs.
Yeah.
Try to lay out, measure your furniture and lay it out.
Okay.
That helps you a lot.
Okay.
Great lighting. Always have good lighting, and don't always depend on, you don't have to have downlights peppering your ceiling. You don't have to have that. You can use, they're great lamps, they're great retro lamps, they're great modern lamps, they're great traditional lamps.
Right.
Lighting is really important. And of course, I said earlier, paint is your best friend.
Paint.
Because you can simply, you can change the color of the room inexpensively. You can do it yourself.
Sliding barn doors, are they still in?
They're really in, and they've actually they have migrated into the bathrooms.
Yes.
Shower doors and that sort of thing. Really cool hardware.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, sliding barn doors is sort of like a pocket door on the outside, so you were able to sort of design your door.
One thing that we're seeing in the market all throughout the country are people are really engaged in opening up their houses so that these vast glass doors actually open, and so that you have this indoor-outdoor experience. I think that's one of the biggest trends in the United States right now.
The island, a different color, shape, and size than the cabinets, right? That's another one. That's an easy fix. Right?
Good observation.
Right?
Yeah,
right?
You're right.
That's twice you've offended me now. That's the second time I surprised you.
I just said good
You're
observation.
Like, wow, he knows that too. Wow, not so bad. How about that? All right.
That's a trick. But also, I just do have to warn people from having islands that are big enough for helicopters to land on.
So be careful about the size of the island.
Yeah.
Okay, because size matters.
They don't have to be gigantic. As we say, size matters.
The Art of Elegance, Classic Interiors. Your book signing, book reading, KDR Showrooms today from 5 to 7. Last question. Can I ask you about your brother?
Sure. I'm very proud of my brother.
I have an issue with your brother.
Oh, I hope not.
Your brother is Tom Watson, the professional golfer, and he was on the show a couple years ago. He was plugging a book too, so we had him on the show.
He has one of the best instruction books
that was the
in
book.
golf.
Yeah, that was the book. And so the producer at the time was a big golfer. And he says he was making fun of me because I like to wear golf sandals when I play golf. So he says, ask Tom Watson if it's acceptable to wear golf sandals.
Okay, and what did he say? I'm really curious about. What did he say?
So I said, last question, sir. I know you're the golf royalty and you're one of the nicest people in the world and you have time for everybody. And so I have a golf etiquette question for you. He says, go ahead, shoot. I said, I wear golf sandals. Is that acceptable? And he says, by golly, if people make fun of you for wearing golf sandals, you stand up to them and you say that my wife loves golf sandals. And if my wife loves golf sandals, you can wear golf sandals.
Great.
Right,
well,
that's
a great
right.
answer.
And he was like,
Please.
women love wearing golf sandals. So, yeah. So he sort of insinuated that I was like a woman playing golf.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Well, look, frankly, you understand about an island, and the color gray.
Right. I can be a golfer and understand about gray being the new royal blue.
The new royal blue,
right?
Or the new,
Yeah, exactly.
Navy blue.
The Art of Elegance. Marshall Watson, a Kansas City kid who has grown up to be an interior designer in New York. The showroom today, kdshowrooms.com, is where that's the showroom, and then the website to find out more. The book is called The Art of Elegance. Bookstores everywhere. You'll love it. You'll get some great hints. Thanks for coming in.
Great. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
9:23.